So today we're going to continue to think about the pronoun. And we know the pronoun has a number of different forms, and last time we talked about how the pronoun takes the place of a noun. Sometimes our pronoun is going to work a lot like what we'll call an adjective, and we're going to talk about adjectives in our next lesson. So for now, just think about these words that we're going to point out as being pronouns that have a variety of roles, a variety of things that they can do in a sentence. And that's partly what makes a pronoun exciting, right? It can fulfill a lot of different roles. So let's start with demonstrative pronouns. These point out a person, place, or thing, or an idea. They point out things. That's the important part to see. So the pronouns like this, these, that, and those. So our example sentence, right? We wanted that car instead of this one. Right, so we saw last time, is a first person plural pronoun, personal pronoun. In our next pronoun, we have that, and we have this. And these two are demonstrative pronouns. I'm just going to abbreviate here. And they're demonstrative pronouns because they refer to a specific car. We wanted that car, right? Not this one over here, that one. In our second example sentence, can we go to that house instead? This that is a demonstrative pronoun. Another pronoun type is that interrogative pronoun. And these help to ask questions, right? Interrogate things, I suppose. Interrogative pronouns. Introduce a question. These are words like who, whom, which, what, whose. So you'll notice in our two examples, both are ending with a question mark, right? Because that's what interrogative pronouns do. They help to ask questions. Whose candy bar is this? Which book would you like to read? We also have relative pronouns. Okay? And unlike the other pronouns that we've discussed so far, its role is really not that to take a place of a noun. And it's something, you know, with who or whom, I suppose it is, but what it's really doing is working like a subordinating conjunction. It's starting a clause in the sentence. The story that we read is very good. That's our first example sentence. So let's think about the relative pronoun in this sentence. The story that we read is very good. Now, a clause is a part of a sentence that adds additional information. Right? We can take that clause out and still have a sentence. It's just not going to say as much. Okay? So the story that we read is very good. And as we go on and think about grammar, we want to think about where our clauses begin and end. Often those clauses are going to have some form of punctuation associated with them, or our understanding of where that clause begins and ends will help us to think about whether or not our sentence is working grammatically. All right, so in this sentence, the story, that begins our subordinate clause, read ends it. All right, now watch. You're going to be amazed. I'm going to take that clause out, and I'm still going to have a sentence. It's just not going to be as informative. So the story is very good. Okay, still have a sentence. In our next example, he is the candidate who tells the truth. So here, the who certainly fulfilling that role of replacing a noun, right? But it's also fulfilling another very important role, which is to add a clause to our sentence. It allows our sentence to expand, to grow, and it grows by adding additional information, in this case, about the candidate. Okay? So, like with the previous example, let's think about where that clause ends. He is the candidate who tells the truth. So clearly the who is starting our subordinate clause, and now truth is ending it. And notice, like with the other example, I'm going to be able to take that whole clause out and still have a sentence. And there we go. He is the candidate. It can be a sentence on its own. But again, it's just not as informative. You just don't know as much about the candidate. Next, we have the indefinite pronoun. Indefinite. And it's referring to some general category. Indefinite pronouns refer to a person, place, idea, or thing that may not be specifically named. You're going to recognize these words right away. All, another, anything, right? There's nothing specific about anything. Just referring to a group generally. Or everything, everyone, everybody, nothing. Okay, these are all indefinite pronouns. A long list of them. Be sure to get to know them well. All right, so our first example sentence, everything we need is at the store. Clearly, everything is our indefinite pronoun. In our second example sentence, I'm going to read it, and then I want you to identify the indefinite pronoun before I do so for you. So somebody tell me what kind of pronoun this is. Hopefully you saw the indefinite pronoun somebody.